You're live at 5 with RT International. Our headlines today: another migrant died in a bid to enter Eurotunnel's French terminal near Calais, as 1,500 refugees attempted to break through fences last night, trying to reach the UK for a second successive night. We've got the latest. Coming up too, a Russian newspaper publishes the leaked text of the UN draft resolution on a tribunal into the downing of flight MH17 in East Ukraine, ahead of course of that Security Council vote on the proposal that's coming in about 5 hours' time tonight. We're across that too. And a man in the US is charged with attempting to detonate a bomb at a Florida beach. Police say he was plotting the attack in the name of Islamic State. Hello, very good afternoon to you, wherever you're watching around the world. This is RT International. My name's Kevin Owen. Thanks for your company. Well, first, another migrant, thought to be young Sudanese this time, has died trying to reach Britain from France. He was apparently hit by a truck and was one of around 1,500 illegals trying to get into the Eurotunnel terminal at the French port town of Calais last night. It's the second night in a row that migrants have swarmed that tunnel. On Monday night, 2,000 people poured through gaps in security fences and then tried to cling to high-speed trains. It took police 6 hours to contain that situation. RT's Laura Burden-Manley travelled to Calais last night. What should have been a half-hour train journey took them 5 hours and a bit more.
What you can see in front of you is the authority-imposed Operation Stack. Essentially, miles of lorry queues, they are being prevented from entering into the Channel Tunnel. You see to the left of me, there are still miles of queues. They've been waiting there now for hours. They're slowly allowing a couple of dozen in, but still not many. So I'm now at the Channel Tunnel terminal. What should have been about a 20-minute journey took around 2.5 hours due to the absolute commuter chaos and the sheer gridlock of lorries. Finally made it to the Channel Tunnel. I'm inside the train at the moment and we're moving. It's taken around 4 hours, so we've been hugely delayed. We've now made it to Calais, and just to the left of me we've seen numerous migrants darting in and out of the freight in these large trucks, trying to get into the undercarriage and even inside of the trucks. This is now happening day and night. I'm currently standing next to this 12-foot fence with razor-sharp barbed wire cutting all the way along the top. This is there as a so-called preventative measure to stop migrants from entering into the freights. Just behind me you can see all of these large lorries and this border fence going all the way around. Now, the UK invested into the French Interior Ministry at £12 million in order to build this fence. They were already marred by controversy in the first month when part of the fence blew over due to very strong winds.
The situation's complicated too right now by strike by French Eurotunnel workers. Their month-long industrial action over potential job cuts has plunged the busy transport system into gridlock many times, and that disruption's echoed on the other side of the channel too. For months, emergency measures have frequently been initiated by the British police to try to ease the road congestion. You can see that's the M20 there. Lorries are literally lined up on sections of that motorway. It's a car park. It's called Operation Stack.
In the past 4 or 5 weeks, I've seen common delays for one reason or another, which has been for the immigrants stopping things, people setting fire to things in the tunnel, or some kind of dispute going on with staff.
Laura Smith next reports about what's happening then on the British side.
Basically what they do is they turn the M20 leading coastbound into a lorry park, and the section that's currently closed and has been closed for 24 of the last 40 days. Needless to say, that's caused massive uproar with locals. There's a petition on change.org at the moment which has attracted 22,000 supporters. So there is chaos on both sides of the channel. On the other side you see thousands of migrants waiting for the first opportunity to jump on a lorry and head for the UK. And then on this side, thousands of lorries waiting for days to cross the channel. And it's against that backdrop that Home Secretary Theresa May has chaired a Cobra meeting today. She says that the police are providing security in Calais. More French police have been drafted in, apparently. She refused to be drawn on whether the army will eventually participate in that. She made two main assurances. She said they were going to be building a great big fence and also taking a sort of holistic approach whereby they would be breaking up the criminal gangs that are doing this, improving the situation in the countries where these people are coming from in order to ensure that they don't try and make the journey in the first place.
Laura Smith from Eurotunnel says that since January they've blocked over 37,000 migrants and it's cost the company a lot of money in the process. The firm's now then demanding compensation from Britain and France, a lot of it, almost 10 million euros thus far. For his part, British Prime Minister David Cameron's called the situation very concerning, adding that there's no point in blaming each other, but when you look at the last past track record, that's exactly what they've been doing. Over the last few months, the UK and France have been doing just that. First off, the Mayor of Calais has been pointing the finger at Britain's cushy welfare system for migrants, saying that's what's drawing them there. There've also been calls to actually physically move the border controls over to Britain, over to Dover on the English coast. On the UK side, the UK part has been complaining about the French police releasing the migrants that they do manage to catch. So accusations on both sides. But the two countries are trying to work it out. I spoke to Margot Parker, a member of the European Parliament for the UK Independence Party. Now, she believes responsibility, though, lies with the French side.
Ultimately, this is a French problem. They do have to step up to the plate and deal with this. It is, after all, their country. Illegal immigrants, must be dealt with, should be returned from whence they came. But, this is a massive problem that Europe definitely needs to head off. They're showing no sign at the moment of wanting to do that. But it's terrible for British holidaymakers. It's terrible for business. If they are economic migrants, then they need to be returned or processed to perhaps somewhere on the North African coast that's a safe port, so that they can be dealt with in a sensible, humane way.